All right, buddy. Wow, messed that up, huh? All right, everybody. That's okay. We're gonna keep that in just because it's funny. So in the background, just an FYI, that's just sort of some background stuff. It's not that's not well, it is me on the cam, but that's just last night's stream. Just something in the background for you guys to watch while you listen to us. But this is a new thing, kinda, I guess. So we're gonna do like little discussion videos. I want to give it a try and see how it goes. Now we've done podcasts, actually quite a bunch of podcasts. You can find a lot of the old ones still on the YouTube channel. But I figure, okay, let's kind of do like a mini version of that. Not a lot of us have really time or even I guess you could say like the topics to do regular podcasts anymore. But I do think that a lot of like discussion topics have been popping up. And as you will see here, I will introduce him here in a moment. But right now it is me. And then I constantly refer to our Discord group guru. So he is on the chat and he will be doing probably most of the talking, to be honest, once I'm done with this intro here. But we have a lot of different ways that we can go with this. Today, or for this video, we're just going to do a discussion topic, but I know that we have discussed some like match analysis and kind of other things, so we'll just kind of go with the flow and see where this takes us. But it should be pretty fun for anybody who's heard us do podcasts in the past. So with all of that out of the way, just a reminder, this is still going to be bite-sized stuff. So whenever we do these videos, don't expect them to be any longer than like, 15, 20 minutes or so. But yeah, enough of me. I'm going to introduce my man. So I guess he goes by Prinny Juice these days, but any of the OGs will know him as John Akazama. What's up, Dan? How's it going?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, yeah, the pleasure is ours. You're basically gonna make this content this content work. So as we go throughout this, everyone listening, just remember that or not remember, but if you have any suggestions or if you would like this guy to address any questions or if you have matches you want him to look at, anything that could help us evolve these discussion videos, by all means throw them in the comments. But so for this episode, Dan, so you had an interesting topic that you wanted to talk about, and that is it's a pretty big one, but you kind of had some specific thoughts on it, and that is the future of Tekken. So T7 has been around for a while now. When did it even come out? 2015? Is that right?
It's crazy. Yeah,
It's
we're
some
coming up on like 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been around for a while. So I think they've done a really good job at keeping it alive, right, with the DLCs and stuff, but it's inevitable we're going to get another Tekken at some point. So with that, I'll just kind of let you take it over. You had your own string of thoughts about where you think they should take it.
Sure. So just, I mean, they're probably not going to do it because make no mistake, right now they are working on Tekken 8. They've probably been working on it for quite some time, trying to find that new system element to give the series a jolt of life, the way Tekken 7 with the Power Crush and the Rage Drives and the rage arts and everything added to it. My personal favorite also, like that nobody talks about, is the fact that once you use those rage moves, rage goes away. Because I don't know how many times somebody's walked in and done extra damage in Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2 where you didn't want them to do it. But if you were, like some people had asked me, if you were in charge of making these next games, what would you do? And my first thought, like, is that everybody's waiting for Tekken Tag 3. So the problem is every time they release a game like Tekken 7, everybody, the first thing that they do is, well, it better have so and so. Well, it better have so and so. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but when Tekken 3 came out, they completely redid the roster and they combined characters and they did all of these things to make the like each character is both more interesting, but also there's room for more characters now. And then when Tekken Tag came out, it was so interesting because Kazuya was gone and he's back. And then they had uh, June and everybody was just so excited to have characters that they liked from before back, and it was exciting. But now every single game people complain, so and so isn't here, so and so isn't here, and it's kind of killing our character selection. So how do you go back to that? How do you bring back that kind of excitement? Like, oh, finally, Ogre's back, or something of that nature when everyone keeps asking for these characters back. I kind of actually like I started thinking about this in terms of X-Men. I don't know if you remember 90s X-Men when they split the team.
Oh, of
Do you?
course.
Yeah, so they had X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold. So if you were to come to me, I would actually split the cast. I would have Tekken 8 and Tekken 9, and I would try to create different system rules in both of those games. So if you were going to make one of those two, because one of them will have inevitably better graphics, better abilities because of time frame, like you're going to release Tekken 8 before Tekken 9, I would save the more ambitious one for Tekken 9, just to give you more time to test it, more time to enhance. But I would start with Tekken 8, and I would make it very similar in nature to Tekken 7. I might just tweak the combo extender. So they went from bound to tailspin, which was a much better decision. It eliminated that crap at the walls that happened so much, um, just in general. So keep the combo extenders, make the system very similar, um, start cutting down the characters, but also try to pick some of the more, like if you had to split the roster, I would say split it unevenly to the more exciting characters are still in Tekken 8. And then you also want to split the clone characters. So Nina goes in one, Anna goes in the other, vice versa, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you even specifically choose, okay, well, Anna or Nina, we're we're going to say Anna's the more exciting of the two, even though Nina has everything, but it gives people at least one of the more signature characters to stick around. Anyways, continuing on, instead of tailspin, my personal choice would be to take the spike that happens in certain rage drives. So like if Brian hits a back one rage drive in a juggle and it gives that giant stun on the ground, that's what I would make my combo extender for everyone. And then I would change the balance on that, where if you do one of those spikes, you get one more hit. Or if you have like a rapid fire thing, like a Brian down back 1+2, you might be able to get both of those. But change the scaling on it. I would make it like not 50%, but a significant chunk. So if you end your job, want to get that big chunk at the end, you should do that. Or now you have to make a decision. Do you want to do that, or do you want to get them to the wall? It's going to be like some people will say, well, Paul should have that or something, or Paul's going to do too much damage compared to everyone else who gets one of those. And I would definitely make the hitbox on that bigger so that more people have access to that hit. Anyways, that's my typical starting point on that one. Um, I don't really have the message that I sent you about it, but I had ambitious ideas for Tekken 9 where I felt they should they should make it include uh, like more of the environment, because it does seem like Namco wants to push this up. They don't want to just be stuck to a certain system. They want to give you excitement. So Tekken 9 would be very much about interacting with the environment. Maybe make the rage drives or whatever, or grabs more interactive with the environment. In Tekken 8, I would make it very very similar to Tekken 7, but Tekken 9 would be very heavily skewed towards like, oh, I threw him into a phone booth, or you know, uh, we were fighting on a golf course, and I took the flag and I started hitting him with him until he knocked it out of my hand, stuff like that, because it does seem to be like a very popular element in, say, like the NRS games. And then the way that you bring this all around full circle to give people that excitement, because you never eliminated any of the characters, but you did create room in each game for new characters to be added. When Tekken Tag 3 comes out, you'll have you know, Tekken 8 versus Tekken 9. And you'll have all of these characters interacting in the same game. And if I play you with a Tekken 9 character against your Tekken 8 character and we're on a stage with good environments, that gives that character a specific advantage. However, what you might do is the Tekken 8 characters, when they do their combo extender, they actually get to bring in, you know, other teammate, something of that nature. Or maybe the environment throws are the only ways that Tekken 9 characters get to bring in their friends mid combo. You know what I mean? So it just gives you that whole thing. But then my extra twist to make it even more exciting to them would be now all of the Tekken 8 characters in Tekken Tag 3 would have the option of also being chosen as a Tekken 9 version. So you basically get two versions of each character. You may not add anyone new in um, Tekken Tag 3, but it's like you get a quarter of the cast with new moves per
Interesting.
per
So
style.
it's almost like you're taking like a pseudo marketing approach with it, where it's like, all right, well, here's Group A's Tekken and Group B's Tekken, and now you guys get to fight.
Mm-hmm. It's like that, and then you also get Group B's version of Group A's characters and Group A's version of Group B's characters. It's That's how I would do it.
Now, how do you envision like the release of Tekken 8 and Tekken 9? Like, are you thinking simultaneous or like actually having them have their own extended life, like full
Oh man.
release life?
Well, I do envision them coming out in order because it gives Tekken 9 a chance to really be fleshed out and tested and all of that. Uh, the way that Tekken 7 is so popular at this moment, it, it, it makes it a shorter development period for Tekken 8, which, I mean, that's totally ideal. Um, because man, this really does need to come around. But if it was me, it would I would probably give it like 3 years for Tekken 9 because they did kind of drag out 7 extensively.
Right. So you're thinking like release Tekken 8 and then keep like a team on it, like a small team to keep working on it, but then well maybe not shortly after, but pretty pretty shortly after T8 release, like start developing T9 so that like while
Yeah,
T8 is being fleshed out, you also have them working on T9.
yeah, and then I mean it gives you a chance to look at each of the characters for Tekken 9. Like, okay, so we already eliminated these characters for Tekken 8, so they can just basically tweak them to make them slightly more, you know, exciting and in the new, but it gives them plenty of time to like, okay, so we already decided Nina's going to end up being one of these environment characters. How do we make that more fitting? And I would say that the environment characters would be very heavily set on wall bounce moves or stuff like that. Because basically, I just think you should be able to split it up. They have so many systems stacked on systems, which has kind of always been Tekken's problem. If you actually split up the systems, you could make this really unique.
So it sounds like in that scenario, T8 and T9 would be kind of what's the best way to put it? They'd be bearable, and then Tag 3 would just be chaos. There'd be so many systems going on.
It would, but it would also segue to you. I don't. Do you remember like CVS, right?
Right.
And you would attack someone with Power Groove, and someone else has C Groove. You know what I mean? So it kind of gives them like, oh, I'm coming at you with Tekken 8 Law versus your Tekken 9 Paul, and you know it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I didn't think about it in that aspect. So you'd have the systems could clash against each other,
Yeah,
but no character would have all of it.
and let's say you're playing a very environmental heavy character on a stage that has good environmental attacks. I mean, that really gives that person an advantage in that regard. But you're playing somebody who decided, I'm going to take this more solid combo extender friendly character against you, and uh-oh, we just got infinite stage. You're out of luck.
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
mean, you might still end up having some form of environmentals in an infinite stage. I'm not trying to limit that, but it's just like as soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, that really does give an advantage to one side. And then you could really put an emphasis on stages, like how balanced they are, or do they offer something for everybody?
Huh. Interesting. That's a.
But the problem,
Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. One of the problems is whenever they change the system, people flip out. They don't want things taken away. They don't necessarily want this. And I totally get that regard. You just spent years of your life developing like a risk versus reward ratio in your head for a certain type of strategy. The people who loved Bound hate Tailspin. To me, that's absolutely silly because I hate the whole wall plus bound. I'm going to hit you to the wall because I was able to, and now I'm going to bound you and get you even more with the wall. It was just ridiculous. But this way, you're actually keeping all of the elements that they have thus far. You're just now giving advantages to certain characters.
Interesting. I really like the concept of having a Tekken game built around the environments because like T4 is like the perfect example of that. But I just feel like the problem is, like you said earlier, like systems stacked on top of systems. So I just wasn't convinced in T4 that it worked super well, but I think that it could. So I very much like that idea because I complain about it all the time. I hate walls and Tekken and stuff, but if you were to build the game specifically around that and like perhaps not have tail spins, but like have, those extra abilities, I guess you could call them, like you said, where you're throwing environment objects and shit. I think that would be cool, but I like the concept at least. Let me put it that way.
If I was to try to design my own that you haven't already like thought of or seen in like an NRS game, what if you were like to giant swing someone through a plane of glass and the glass is all over the floor? So now it's kind of like now they're stunned on the ground because they're laying in glass. That would be something that I would add.
Hmm. Interesting. I like that. I like it. Well, again, this is why I wanted to do this discussion because these are neat things. Like I'm sure people have mentioned them before, right? But like a lot of people, whenever they think about, oh, what do I want in the next Tekken, they're typically framing it like you said um, with the foundation that not much is going to change fundamentally. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
not going to take stuff away, and if they do, they're going to replace it with something that's very similar. So bound to Tailspin, because I mean, in reality, Tailspin just fits the system better. So it's just I like to think of it as a like a patched bound kind
Mm-hmm.
of, where
It's kind
bound
of what
was
it
just
is.
so overpowered and ridiculous that they're like, all right, well, we have to nerf it. So tailspin is the nerfed bound, but it's still the same function of it. So
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I love what they did with Tailspin. It added weight to tracking moves because now, like before, if you had a move that forced crouch and it could bound if they tried to get out of it, I don't I don't think people understand exactly how broken as a system element that is because most of those forced crouch moves offered frame advantage anyways. So you have a move that offers frame advantage, could bound, could also, like force them crouching so it limited their movement. It's just too much. And then in Tekken, people have often complained that they didn't have good enough homing moves. I mean, they added the extra sparks, they put in the purpose of the homing moves, but now they also offer like most of those same homing moves are also tailspin launchers where they don't get full life or anything like that, but they do get a little combo. So it's like they really overhauled the entire fight system in that regard.
right, right. Well, cool. That makes sense. I don't really have like a good outro, but I like this discussion because it's a fun one since we're starting to get to the end of T7's life, I think. I don't think anyone, well, I don't know. The outbreak kind of throws a wrench in there because I mean, who knows what's going to happen with the TWT this year just because we're going to miss so many events. Because it felt like this was probably the last year that they were really gonna.
Mm,
Well, for sure,
yeah.
I think that the original plan was to end with the DLCs, like this DLC pack, um, and then maybe continue to support the tour next year, but kind of stop with new content. Um, but who knows? That might all get pushed back since we're kind of having a year stolen from us, so to speak.
We
But
really are.
still, it's fun to talk about and think about what the next Tekken could be and could have in store. So
I'd like to find a way to get in contact with them because I do feel like this would be a solid idea, even if it's not fully fleshed out the way they would want. I want to spread it to them.
yeah,
But
I'm still
I do
convinced
think we
that
should
they
segue into the matchup thing.
right.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's cool. I'm still convinced that they need to add more modes. That it's like,
Yes.
especially if they want to extend, if they want to keep extending the life of T7, or if they just want to add it into a new Tekken, just like more modes. Like there's so much more that they could do with the modes, and it's crazy to me that they're not doing that. And when I say modes, I want to be clear, for everyone out there. I'm not necessarily talking about like Tekken Bowl or Tekken Force or whatever. But I mean, you just see all of these mods that people do with Tekken 7, like having, or not even that people are modding, but like if you play arcade mode, or it's not arcade mode, was it Treasure Battle or whatever the hell it is, where you can have random mods pop up. Like why
Hmm.
can't you just have a mode where we do that on our own? Like
Hmm.
it would be such fun shenanigans to have like everything be class 20 launcher or whatever the hell. Like
Yeah.
it'd be so fun, but
No,
I
that's
don't
a
know
good
why they didn't.
point. Or what if you could do treasure mode with somebody so that it's like, all right, I generated 1 million, you generated 2 million out of beating this giant, I don't know, Nancy robot from Tekken 6. Winner take all.
Right, yeah, like I just feel like there's so much they could do there, and I understand that like for the competitive crowd it might not seem important, or it might not be something that you're into, but at the same time, like there are a ton of casual players that play this game, and they can only do so much with quick match or ranked or whatever. So like
Hmm.
if you can create these like goofy party modes that people can participate in, it would be awesome. But this also kind of ties in to the criticism that a lot of people have about the very underwhelming online mode that they have. Because like if you could
Yeah.
incorporate that kind of thing into an online mode, I mean that's a game changer. Like silly mods like that in a lobby would be bananas. It'd be so
Hmm.
fun. But anyway,
In Fortnite right now, they're having like fashion competitions where people put on different, because they already do like lots of different skins. I mean, how hard would it be to like, okay, 10 people can go in and they can vote on each other's custom outfit that they made in in our thing? It would probably take nothing in space, but give the casual player more to do.
right. Now that is a perfect example. Like I think fighting games just they're still figuring it out. Like they need to evolve a little bit and add more than just like the single competitive mode that we're kind of all used to. And even for like a competitive player, like I may not be a pro, even if you're on that level, you may not be a pro, but like we still like to have fun with the game, right? So
Hmm.
like allow us options or modes where we can explore fun aspects of the game without just having to make it up as we go, and like, oh well, I want to use these three moves because they're never used. Like that gets old. So but
I
anyway,
mean, yeah, you could do anything. You could have like a mode where wave dash contest. I don't know. It could be like a home run derby. Who can do the most in a certain amount of time? Who can who can taunt Jet Upper the most time? I don't know.
dude, a
If
horse
you even
mode,
want to, yeah,
a
horse
horse
mode
mode.
would be my absolute ideal.
Yep,
That
that'd
would
be
be the
cool.
best.
There you go,
Oh my gosh,
modders. We've just given you some stuff to do. But
can you imagine it randomly generates a character and you have to do a combo for this one that the next person has to do? That'd be great.
that'd be sick. That'd be such a cool mode, man. We got to write to somebody at Michael Murray. Let him know that we are
Hmm.
available. Um, freelance work,
For real.
consultants.
All right, let me help segue into that matchup thing though,
Okay.
because you hinted that people could submit matchups and we could like review them and everything. And I think if we're gonna do this video, and you can totally, because I'm not trying to take over your stream or anything, but
No, you're good.
I had sent you that we should maybe talk about this video, and that I thought it would be really good for everyone. Um, what if on your next one, at least the next one you do with me, we do a matchup analysis of this one, and it gives people something like, is that the sort of analysis you want? Because I have a really great video.
Oh, that's an excellent idea. So yes, that's actually a good segue to like outro this video too, since we've been going for a little while. Um, yes. So what we want to do, kind of like what I said at the start of this video, is that we want to just like open this up to various kinds of discussion where we can just kind of sit here and talk about something, and that includes, as you can see, since it's not that difficult for me to put video and whatnot in the background while we chat. That opens the door to, us watching a video and we can discuss whatever. So match analysis is the kind of obvious version of that, but sounds like Dan has a video that we can look at, so we can do that next time. But if you guys have suggestions, or like, I'm totally open if people are like, okay, I'm really struggling, because you hear this all the time in like Twitch chats and stuff where people are like, okay, well, I'm having Lil Majing, hey, I'm a King player too. I'm having this problem with blah blah blah. Can you help me out? And normally, the best that they can do is kind of talk in generalities, right? Where, okay, well, this is what
Mm-hmm.
I do as a professional player and whatever, but you also have to consider XYZ. And most of those, streamers or whatever, they don't have time to go through everybody that asks and like watch their matches and stuff. But I'm totally open to like doing that if people have have matches or whatever that they want us to take a look at. And I'm sure it'll be our closer group that will probably take us up on that. But if anybody has matches, I mean, I think that we can review them and be like, oh, this would be a really good case study in how players need to watch out for this, so definitely
I would have to
comment
say
or whatever.
keep it
So
to like 5 matches or something.
yeah, because I think,
Don't give
if
me just
we,
one. Don't give me 100.
yeah, because I think like if we limit this, which it looks like it's going to be for this one, if we limit this to like under half an hour for a video, I think that's like a good time to fit, um, quite a few matches actually. And even if we only go like 15, 20 minutes, you can still fit several matches and kind of talk about them. Um, so yeah, I like that. So definitely, yeah, if you have that, like Dan said, it looks like we probably have one that he wants to do, just to kind of give you guys an
You guys are gonna
example.
lose your minds.
Yeah. Just to give you guys an
I really
example of
do.
like what we're looking to do. But yeah. Well, that's really all that I have, cuz like I said, I don't want these videos to go super duper long. So I think a half hour is pretty good. Do you have any final comments, Dan, before we call it?
No, thanks for listening. Sorry to drone on and pirate
No.
your stream.
That's cool, dude. I think, people used to, for those of you that are maybe newer to the channel, we used to do podcasts a long time ago, and it just got to be too much because like I would try to get guests on, and then we try to like hash out a character for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it was just too much. Like it was really hard to schedule that, or it got really hard to schedule it. So it was just something that was unfortunately untenable. And then nowadays you have guys like, Blasted Salami or whatever, and they're getting JDCR on and like doing big interviews with them. So it's just kind of, that ship has sailed at this point. But I like these
Mm-hmm.
little discussion topics because we can go more in depth on things that maybe people aren't talking a whole lot about. And it's not just opinion, but like, hey, here's some knowledge, here's some stuff that, maybe you guys didn't know. So, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm always learning. So it's fun to do.
Always, always. If you stop learning, you're done.
Right. All right, so we are going to call it the end of that first video. So again, guys, thanks for watching. As always, sub to the channel, and as you can see in the background, we got the stream. So come hang out. I'm almost done with school. I'm only a month away. So once that's done, I'm actually going to try to stream more since I'll have more time. No schoolwork on the horizon. So definitely hit us up on Twitch. And then as always, we got Twitter, etc., Facebook. And then Patreon, if you guys are so kind enough to support us that way. But anyway, thank you very much to Dan. I'm sure you guys will hear from him, here in the future, and we hope everyone stays safe. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later.